How to get business funding when you have bad credit. This is important because this comes up a lot. My name is Jonathan Fodera. I have been in small business lending for the past 14 years. I own integrated business financing, and I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs get millions of dollars to grow and scale their business. All right, so in this video, we're gonna go over what programs work, what you're gonna need to do to go after them, and where you can find those programs. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them in this video. So first, let's go over what types of programs you can get if you have bad credit. First, a working capital line, right? So as long as you have over 500 credit and you're doing more than $15,000 a month in your business bank statements and you have decent cash flow, you can get a working capital line. A working capital line will typically give you anywhere from 75 to 100% of your monthly average in sales. For example, if you're doing $50,000 a month, you can get anywhere from $40,000 to $65,000 over, let's say, 6 to 18 months. And the way it's repaid is either small daily micropayments or weekly payments or right out of the credit card sales. Now, why would you want a working capital line? Well, it's quick and easy, and it's gonna get you the money you need to grow and scale the business, and some of that money should be used to fix your credit. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because if you're using a working capital line to get financing, because you have bad credit, one of the things on that checklist you should be doing is fixing your credit, because next time you can get a line of credit or you can get equipment financing. This is really, really important, and I'll give you a quick example. One of my clients, John, he came to me 6 years ago. I've been working with this guy for 6 years, and when he came to me, he was doing $150,000 a month as a logistics company, but his credit was 580, so he couldn't go to a bank to get funds. So what he did was he asked us for financing to go buy trucks, because 580 is still a low credit score for equipment finance. It's actually a very low credit score. So he went out and he was able to get 3 or 4 trucks, and I think we gave him $150,000 over 12 months with weekly payments. Well, he grew that business. He doubled his business with that financing. So the financing more than paid for itself. If you watch my videos, you know all I care about is the increase in cash flow more than the payment, and are you making money with the money that you're borrowing? If that's the case, it's a great fit, right? Obviously you want the best rate and terms. However, when you're analyzing a decision, that's what you should be looking at. So after we did that, John said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you got me this money." And in 6 months, he called me up and he said, "Hey, I want to do the same thing again. I want to keep doing this." Long story short, John's business went from doing $150,000 when he met me 6 years ago. Now he's doing about $1 million a month, and he's using all different types of programs: working capital, equipment financing, and lines of credit. And we even got him an SBA loan recently. Why? Because he worked on his business. He made his business stronger. He made his business better by using financing. He is an ideal client, and he used it smart, and guess what? He is getting the benefits of what he did. Now, where do you get a working capital line? You can come to us at Integrated. We'll be happy to help you get working capital financing. There's also a bunch of companies out there. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't go to a broker, because sometimes what they do is they'll stick in a personal service fee, and that could be anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 10%. That's on top of the cost that you're paying. Typically, for every dollar you borrow on a working capital line, you can expect to pay back $1.15 to $1.45, depending on how well you score out and how long the terms are. Now, one thing about working capital line is you should always ask for a prepayment incentive, meaning if you can pay it off early, you save money. And we make sure every single client we work with has that. I'm not selling you, I'm just telling you what to watch out for. So make sure you have a prepayment incentive, and make sure that there's no additional fees. Underwriting will usually charge anywhere from 2.5% to 5%. That's normal. What's not normal is a personal service fee on there. Don't sign that. You don't need to. Okay. The next program, if you have bad business credit that you can use, if you are B2B, meaning business to business or business to government, is Invoice Factoring. Okay. What Invoice Factoring is going to do is, if you're invoicing people today and they don't pay you for 30 days or 60 days, and that's causing cash flow issues, what you can do is you can factor those invoices and get anywhere from 80 to 95% of that invoice today. The rest is held in a reserve, and then you only pay anywhere from 1 to 4% a month. What that does, it speeds up your cash flow, it allows you to take on more jobs, and it allows you to scale your business. I just did this for my friend Austin, and Austin has great credit. Austin has a very good business. The challenge Austin had is he consistently gets paid in 30 or 60 days. And when he's growing, he's a nationwide company, he needs the money now to scale. So he did this and he told me, he goes, Jonathan, I can't believe I waited this long, and now my cash flow issues are over and I'm taking on more jobs and larger jobs. That's exactly what that program is used for. And you want to know where to go? I'm happy to help you with it. And there's a couple banks that do it, but not many banks do it and know about it or understand it because it's a business-to-business transaction or business-to-government transaction. The one thing I will add to this is when you're doing this, you want to look at what the advance rate is. What's the cost of capital? What happens if it runs over? Meaning if you're paying 2% for 30 days and they pay in 45 days, what's the extra fee? It should be aligned with that first 30 days. So if you're paying 2% and they pay you in 45 days, 3% isn't unreasonable. Some people really penalize people on the back end of an invoice factoring program. So please watch out for that. The next program, if you have bad credit and you are business to business, mainly in construction or business to government, is project funding. And project funding works off of the actual contract that you have signed. So let's say you sign $1 million contract and you need $200,000 to start because you need to add staff, you need to get some equipment, and you need to get the supplies and inventory to do the job. Well, you might not have $200,000 laying around. So if you do project funding, they will give you a draw or a percentage of that contract, and you only pay on what you drew on. And typically, they are 4 to 5% per 30 days. And they get paid when you get your first draw or installment on that work. So what'll happen in that situation is, let's say you ask them for a $300,000 draw, they're charging you 4% for 30 days, 4% of the $300,000, which is $12,000. You get your first payment on that contract, that goes to settle that debt and settle the draw. Every single client I've ever put into this program continuously uses it. I have someone named Isaac that has a manufacturing company, and he was getting these large purchase orders that he was struggling to fulfill because he had other types of financing that was draining his cash flow. We set him up with project funding, and now he's been consistently financing larger and larger purchase orders, which has made his business explode in a great way because he's taken on more work and the profit margins are still there. Now, big question I'm always asked is, what can I do if I'm trying to start a business and I have bad credit? There's two things. First suggestion is go to credit repair. I recommend Sean Lane. He's great when it comes to credit repair, and I think his company is FSR Credit. But what'll happen is you really can't borrow money when you have bad credit to start a business because there's nothing to go off of. There's no track record. The other option that you have is if you have someone that can be a partner, or if you have someone that believes in you enough and they want to co-sign or they want to sign off on a loan, you can do a simple interest term loan. The way a simple interest term loan works is if you have 650 credit and $50,000 in provable income, you can get anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 over 3 to 5 years with simple interest starting at 6%. So what we have a lot of people starting these Amazon retail stores or a Walmart retail store, and the upfront cost to get in those is usually $30,000 to $60,000. So we have a lot of consultants, we have a lot of coaches that'll send us their clients so we can get them a simple interest term loan so they can pay for the startup costs and they can start on a fully automated business, right? That's gonna continue to provide them cash flow. The challenge is they don't have the money to start. So the simple interest term loan gives them the money that they need. They get the store up and running. Then they're making money on the money that they just borrowed. It's really, really a smart way to start a business. If you are trying to start a business and you think it's going to cost you between $50,000 and $100,000, go look for someone that either wants to be a partner or someone that trusts you enough to be willing to sign off on a term loan for you. And those aren't the only programs available. You can do asset-backed financing, which we do. It's just you have to have the assets. And a lot of times, if you don't have an asset that's free and clear, you're not going to be able to get asset-backed financing, or they're not going to be that favorable, especially with bad credit. So that's why I'm not bringing that up on this video and suggesting that that is a route to go. But we do have that. I have worked with people in that, but I'd rather get people into the best program possible. And sometimes when you do asset-backed financing, you're basically selling the rights to a piece of equipment or a piece of property. And because of that transaction, if you have low credit, you're going to get a much higher rate. So real quick, and then I'm going to give you 3 actionable takeaways and some really, really great tips that are gonna help you get in a better position. So first, you can use a working capital line, you can use invoice factoring, and you can use project funding. You even can consider asset-backed financing if you have bad credit. Now, what is an actual takeaway that you can do today, and where can you find these programs? Well, first off, I can help you with all these programs. Banks are gonna be a little bit tougher. I really wouldn't go there. The reason I'm telling you, come to me instead of going on Google is because if you go on the wrong sites on Google, everything's gonna be shotgunned out and a bunch of brokers are gonna be calling you. And basically, if you apply at multiple different places, they're gonna keep pulling your credit and it's gonna put your credit in a worse position. That's why I'm telling you, honestly, not to Google it. I don't wanna sell you on this video. I wanna help you. So I wouldn't do that. We don't do that here. I don't let that happen because we care about our clients. Banks can't deal with bad credit. They never could, never will. It's just not what they do. What's an actual takeaway? Well, an actual takeaway is check where your credit is, use Credit Karma, and start working on that. The next actual takeaway is if you need financing, I want you to write down what you need financing for, how much you need, and look at your business bank statements. And when you do that, figure out if you get this piece of equipment, if you add staff, if you start marketing using this money, how much more money are you gonna make? And then come to me with that roadmap and we'll figure out a way to get it done. Remember, always integrate your business for success. If there's any questions you guys have, leave them in this video. I want to help you guys. Thank you.